What is one thing that every single person here, every person in the world experiences in life? Change. Doesn't matter who you are, how tall, how short, how old, how young, where you were born, where you were raised. Everybody gets change. For me, change has always led to growth. You have a choice. I was brought up, learned that a smart person learns from their mistakes and their experiences, but a wise person learns from the mistakes or experiences of others. Hopefully, my story will give you the experience that you don't have to follow the same path I did with the injuries and the pain. That kind of sucked. But how you can look at things from a unique or a new or a different perspective, how the world gets flipped 180 degrees. I grew up here in Hamilton, Montana, born in Marcus Daly Hospital. Little whippersnapper, 3 pounds, 9 ounces. Wasn't supposed to live. From there, I was a country boy. Loved the mountains, loved water, loved going everywhere I could go in life, explore, and followed kind of the same route that I was brought into through my dad and my mom, and not having much, everything in life we built, we made, we explored. That was our adventures. That was our memories. For me, birthdays was going out and hunting gophers and fishing. So nothing extravagant. That developed me, helped build my character, my strength, my mental fortitude. From there, I wanted more change. I wanted a challenge. I wanted to see what the world could throw my way. One of my good buddies I grew up with, Rick, had already gone in the Marine Corps. And I said, why not? Let's see what we can do. Signed up, enlisted, went in to go close quarters battle. That was my dream. That's where I wanted to go. I wanted to kick indoors. I wanted to be the first one. I know I'm smart enough, good enough, strong enough that I can do it so others don't have to. So I can keep everybody here stateside alive. I can put that burden on my shoulders. And from that, I continue to challenge myself time and time and time again. During that time frame, being in the infantry, I was slotted to go out to 5th Marines in 2004 for deployment. I was currently a close quarters battle instructor. As my friends left, a 19-year-old kid ran a stop sign and T-boned me. I was on a motorcycle. They induced me in a coma, a ruptured aorta, had to staple a Gore-Tex patch on it. And in that coma, my mind went into the land of nightmares. Everything I knew in the real world, training, Marine Corps, related into physically what was happening with a punctured lung, collapsed lung, multiple traumas throughout the entire body. I felt like I was a prisoner of war, and I had to keep fighting. And every night I'd get locked up in a tunnel underneath, in my mind, not in real life, but I'd be trapped in a tunnel. They'd fill it up with water. I'd have to keep my nose, my mouth elevated all night long. As soon as I start to fall asleep or pass out, I'd start to drown again, which was due to the lungs, the fluid in my lungs. And every time I started to pass out, go underneath the water, I'd snap out of it and realize that I'd be letting my family down, letting my friends down. So I had to learn how to move forward, how to get it together. And I was lost. I was physical my entire life. I could figure everything out. Nothing could stop me. Nothing could slow me down. Every problem I faced, I could overcome. It was not easy, but this one totally wiped the slate clean, totally rewired everything. My leg was amputated above the knee. My hip was wired shut, as you can see from the x-rays. They had to go in and grind everything because it started healing on its own while my body was healing. So 8 hours of surgery. 2 days later, another 8 hours of surgery. I learned what physical pain was. But it paled in comparison to the frustration that I had of being a burden on society, being a burden on people around me. So I started plugging forward in life, went home on convalescent leave. During that time frame, the Bitterroot Valley. Support people, friends, family. Sent messages to my parents, helped them out. kept them going. So they were in turn able to toughen up and keep me going. And I was home, went back to Washington State. I broke out of the hospital legally. 2 days short of 2 months. So those 2 months in the hospital, minus the 3 weeks where I was in my little coma in nightmare land, I just about lost my mind. And so much time to sit there and think about what I could not do. I couldn't do this anymore. I didn't know what I'd be able to do, didn't know where I'd be able to go. Nothing. Everything was totally wiped clean. And went home, laying in bed. Dad walked in, said, "Hey, time to get your butt up. Time to get moving. And change is inevitable. Growth is optional." He's like, "Can you let this beat you? Or you can start moving forward." So I started getting it together, got signed up, went into physical therapy, did a couple sessions, and I'm slightly competitive to a nature. And so they would say, "Do this for 5 minutes." I would sit there and be all on the machines or the bars, just completely shaken for failure. But I had to do it for 7 minutes, 10 minutes, as long as I possibly could. And start thinking into the close quarters battle realm that the Marine Corps trained me in. The asymmetrical mindset, how to locate, close with, destroy the enemy by fire maneuver, how to make your way through the facilities, the buildings, the structures, the streets with that asymmetrical mindset, that initiative-based tactics. I'm like, okay, I can't do this the way I used to. Now I have to do this. And so I had to learn with 2 different processes. One, natural human leg that functions. This side, no use of the knee, no use of a foot, no use of an ankle, hip wired shut, minimal strength. So it was like, okay, what do I do? And turned it into a challenge, something that I could overcome. And then seeing the smile on people's faces around me, the support, and that started fueling the fire inside. So I had to figure out, what am I going to do about it? Where am I going to take this fire? Am I going to let it burn? Am I going to let it go in an uncontrolled direction? Still hate the world, hate everything that happened to me? Or can I give back? My human nature, why I went in the Marine Corps, was to protect others and keep my buddies alive. I said, why not channel that into something else? From there, I got brought into the world of kayaking. And met Mama Deb, huge influential person in my life, and lowered to death. From there, get paddling, get racing. There's a little snapshot of me and a kid, a little youngster. He was born without an arm, congenital birth defect. He and I are in a tandem surf ski, going for a race. And 10-kilometer race, took us about 60 minutes to go. He drug his paddle a little bit, but seeing the smile on his face when he got done in front of his mom and his dad, and how he'd been able to accomplish that and race with me, we were brothers. He was missing an arm, I was missing a leg. And then from there, autism buddies and Kel's kids and all the different communities out in Virginia, where then I was training and working with Navy EOD guys as a contractor. It allowed me to be with people I knew, and it allowed me to get out my energy and focus on that. Fortunately for me, since 2013, I made the U.S. team and started moving forward. This is a picture of my dad and I in Russia, Moscow, and racing in the World Championships, going up against the best in the world. What can I do? And it was so much enjoyment for me to see the smile on his face that I was now capable of doing things. And that is what really fueled more of the fire. And also the growth of the U.S. team trials. Coming up 2015, I was able to avenge my previous U.S. losses that I had in 2012 and 2013. A couple of good guys, great guys. They were Army veterans, but I'm a Marine Corps veteran. So I was able to cross the finish line in front of everybody. I'm the closest boat, the blue and the white boat right there. And just grinding it out on the water, taking the lead from there with the goal of making the Olympics. I want the Olympic rings. I want the American flag raised for the rest of the world, see how awesome we are, and give back to everybody that supported me over the years. I was a little bit late for 2016, but I'm headed towards 2020. So that's kind of my direction of growth. The effort and the intensity that goes into it is phenomenal. The support with friends and family and everybody around me, it's a huge sacrifice, not just on the athlete. It's, the food. It's ridiculous. The amount of hours cooking, eating, macros, nutrients, the physical therapy, the people, the network, and everything. And on the water, I average a little over 2,000 kilometers a year, high-intensity interval training, and then another 700 hours in the gym, lifting. And, being able to have a great lifting partner makes a world of difference. It keeps you, because it's like, well, I can't let up today because she's not going to let up today. So then I got to push harder. So that's the direction for growth, working together. Everybody helping everybody get stronger. Everybody improve mentally, physically, healthy. From there, upcoming opportunities, working with the youth. 10-year-old, 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds. I can teach them a little bit of toughness, a little bit of mental fortitude on the water still, and I get to act like a kid out there and paddle around and play with them too. So I'm excited about it, working with the youth, mentoring. And then I work with some of the masters paddlers, that are older, age 30, 35 and up, and they get to be a kid again around me. So even though I'm old as most of them. So we had a great nationals tryout this year. We showed up and we were 7 points away from taking the national championships, which is pretty impressive, having a lower number than some of the other teams in the U.S., because there's teams all over. Right here is a video of me on the heads-up display on the screen. It'll show speed, right where you see that 6, and that goes up miles per hour, how fast I'm going, GPS, and this is some of the technology that gets analyzed and looked at and reviewed, just doing 25-meter sprints, 50-meter sprints, and the amount of effort that goes into it. So that is the boat that I'm sitting in. As you can see, my hips are not that wide to begin with, and you got to keep it balanced, stable, going. So it's generally a 10-year sport, but that has given me my path. That gives me my long-term goals, my big-term goals. So I keep moving forward, keep taking in that fresh air, keep going, and just gaining momentum with the sport. And then this last year was kind of my breakout year, finally getting faster times and getting much more confidence racing internationally. Szeged, Hungary, at the World Cups, I raced, and making it into the finals. I am the 4th boat down from the top. It's white. Is everybody? It's up there. I'm wearing, the blue Team USA. I have the red long sleeve shirt underneath. It almost played out perfectly for me because it was raining, it was cold, so it would keep my body warm. 5 seconds before the race started, it warmed up. But this is the race. This is how close it is. This is 200 meters in Hungary. And the start goes. You can't hear it. There's not a ton of audio. Right there, I'm in the lead. Lane 4, boat 4. You'll see the 4 in the back of my boat. Everybody else is catching me, racing up to me. The top 6 slots in this race, the finals, was 0.8 seconds or closer. So already crossed in down to the last 200 meters. Right there's the last 20 meters. The red boat from Israel slightly ahead of me, and that's a wrap, just how fast it happens. So I have to train harder, train smarter, train better to keep it going. Because this sport is so technical, so physically demanding, and the support is huge. Like I said, if it wasn't for growing up here, coming from Montana, everybody that supported the family when they needed the strength to support me, and now rallying in behind. And that is where I really developed my energy, is being able to help others. Helping myself, figuring things out for myself is neat, but it's only temporary. But when someone is able to be inspired or somebody comes back, 'cause everybody here has a story. I mean, everybody's overcome so much in their lives. And nobody should ever think that you're alone. And united as a country, as a community, that is where our strength comes from. Doesn't matter who you are, tall, shorts, whatever, all the different characteristics, working together, helping other people is really what fuels you or fuels me to grow and keep improving and not let anyone down. So, is it healthy? Is it productive? Am I moving forward? And does it add value? That's the questions that I keep asking myself. How do I improve? How do I get better? So, change is inevitable. Growth is optional. Everybody's going to experience change. What are you going to do about it? Thank you so much.